Hey, this is Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and I got a tip or a leak or whatever you want to call it that Harley-Davidson is about to cut 15 to 25% of their employees. Now, that's a big cut, and there's a chance this rumor or leak is false information. Let's talk about where it might be coming from or why it might be true. Now, if you have any information about this, if you've heard something right there in the internet world, please leave me a comment down below. Fix my story if I'm wrong, but if you've got something to confirm that, please leave a comment for that as well. I do try and read all the comments and respond to those. So the story or the rumor is that there's going to be a big cut in workforce internationally as well as in the U.S. Now, I know back in May, there was an announcement that Livewire was moving from California to the Milwaukee headquarters. And then there was a recent announcement about the Milwaukee headquarters in which people were talking about what's going on with that, the new park. Harley-Davidson race team is going to have a headquarters and a public-facing display per se to give the public a better look at the Harley-Davidson race team, what goes on there at the new headquarters. It's being redesigned to be more friendly for hybrid workforce, some things like that. There's also a STEAM, lab, I guess is what you would call it, being developed there at the headquarters that's going to employ some people. And for those of you that don't know, STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. And it's to help develop young people and get them exposure to this industry, the automotive industry, the motorcycle industry, and development and that kind of thing. So that's what the STEAM Lab's about. What I read about Livewire coming to Milwaukee indicated that they were going to move all of Livewire to Milwaukee and that there would be some consolidation and a reduction of maybe 10% of the Livewire workforce. Now, the Livewire workforce is like 200 people, so we're talking like 20 positions. That's not a big thing. Not a big number when you look at Harley-Davidson, who has employees, I think, upwards of 6,000 internationally and in the U.S. 20 employees out of 6,000 is nowhere near 10%. So either someone's taken this number from Livewire and confused that with Harley-Davidson as a whole, or big things are coming with Harley-Davidson reducing staffing based on the economy. And I say based on the economy. If you guys watch the channel very much, every quarter I cover the financial reports, the business updates that Harley-Davidson puts out. In the last quarter, I talked about the fact that Harley-Davidson has been predicting, last quarter and the previous quarter, that sales this year in 2024 would be flat to down 10%. And this isn't just a Harley-Davidson issue. It's automotive industry-wide. It's Indian Motorcycles. It's Honda Motorcycles. They're all predicting flat to down. So it makes sense that they could reduce part of that workforce if sales are down. If sales are down, production needs to come down. That means you don't need as many people assembling and machining motorcycles. You don't need as many drivers delivering or other things that go along with that. And they might reduce some of their marketing or publicity. Maybe they'll do less events or they'll send less people to these events. They'll have a smaller footprint at rallies if they've got to save some money. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. That sounds like a pretty responsible business decision. If you know your sales are going to be down 10%, that you start looking for ways to save 10%. Keep your stockholders happy, keep your margins where they were, reduce costs. Now, I hate to see any American lose their job. I'm not saying I'm a fan of this, but as someone who has a little experience with budgets and businesses, that if your sales are going to be down, you've got to do the responsible thing for the rest of your employees by keeping your business open and keeping it profitable. If you lose too much money and you have to shut the business down, that's bad for all of the employees. Now, Harley-Davidson recently renegotiated its union labor contracts or something for the production of motorcycles with the people that are union-driven, and I believe the cost went up on that. I didn't see a lot of details. That stuff's usually kind of hidden, but the negotiations went pretty quick, which means the union probably got what they wanted, and that means they probably got more money, better benefits, those kinds of things. So that means costs probably went up on the production side as well. So production costs go up, sales go down. That's a bad mix. So we got to figure out we're going to save that money, and reducing the workforce is probably the most obvious and probably the best decision they can make. They've already reduced the cost of the motorcycles this year for the 2024 road glides and street glides from what they were previously. So they probably have a little less margin, or maybe the same margin at best. But if sales are down, prices are down, production costs are up, got to do something. So let me know, do you know anything about this? All right, guys, today's video is brought to you by Beyond Riders. Beyond Riders has now helped supporting the channel a little more, and they have sponsored today's video. If you're not familiar with Beyond Riders, they make Kevlar-lined riding clothes, jeans, cargo pants, mesh shirts, flannel shirts. I've been wearing their flannel shirt back here for a long time. I'm trying out their mesh shirt right now. Really like this thing. I've worn it on days that the temperatures were reaching the low 90s already, and it makes a big difference. It's much, much cooler. Of course, they call it a shirt, but it's kind of like a jacket. A dual layer, it's got Kevlar lining. This thing is really nice though. It's been working really well when I'm riding in hot weather. So check the guys out at Beyond Riders. A link down below. You can save yourself $10 with the code RITO, and we thank them for supporting the channel with this video. So if anybody out there knows anything, leave me a comment. Have you heard the same rumors? Have you seen anything that says this is happening? Or am I being fed misinformation? We won't call it BS, but maybe someone's just confused. Maybe it's misinformation. Maybe it's not. One thing's for sure, it'll be interesting to see what Harley-Davidson announces in their report in July for their financials. It should happen right around the time of homecoming. So I can't wait to see what we find out there, and that may be where this information becomes more publicly available if it is actually happening. I would expect to hear that in the business update if this is something that Harley-Davidson is planning to do. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Stay safe, stay cool, and keep on riding. We'll see you in the next one.